Good evening, guys, and I just thought I'd talk about the A7R3 and the reason I think it is probably the most usable sort of pro level camera out there today. These are some of the shots I've done over the last couple of days. This one here straight away, shooting straight into the sun in golden hour yesterday, and a friend of mine's horse, just doing some test shots with her jumping, and it was locking on straight in with focus, no problem at all, and the same as here, no problem at all. Really putting it into its, its sort of dodgy zones really, where I couldn't even see what I was looking at, and it was still locking onto the horse. Absolutely fabulous. This shot here was the 70-200 f4 G lens from Sony, and that's actually cropped in already 50%. So it just shows you how sharp that lens is. Excuse me. This shot here also is cropped in heavily, and the tracking system on the continuous AF has just locked straight on. Really sharp images, really pleased with it. It's just so much quicker than the A7R2 was. It's just an all-round improvement. The quality of the image has become just that much better as well all over. It just looks more realistic. It's, I've just been really happy with it so far. The A7R2 is still an incredible camera, and you can't diss it at all. It just isn't at the same level as this camera now. This is really pushing the boundaries so far on the mirrorless side of things. Obviously you've got the A9, which is another level above the A7R3, but for the resolution side of things, this is perfect for what I need. Absolutely perfect. As you can see, another crazy shot. This shot here was already cropped in double, and that seagull there was ready to get a surprise shower by that massive wave. And as you can see, cropping in and cropping in, it's still pretty good. This shot here, you think, landscape. No, it's not. It's actually a portrait image. The size of the images that you're producing are just bonkers. I'm filling up. I've already done, I think, in a week and a half of having this camera, over 5,000 shots. It's, on burst mode, it's pretty good. And the fact that that buffer doesn't fill up pretty quickly. I have found myself a couple of times having to let the buffer catch up on itself again. But other than that, and I'm still using a slower card as well, so I'm going to invest in a faster card. This shot here was with the Batis 85mm f1.8, and as you can see there, some of the sparks are pretty close to me, so as they've come off the hammer, giving you some nice bokeh there. This is the top of the stove. Just really nice to use. The camera is just easy, quick. With that joystick as well, you can move the focus points around. Really good. This shot here, another one. This is actually a 7-image stack here to get the shot all in focus. I see the shot, the sign there with all the names and the number and everything on it. That was with the 35mm Samyang f1.4 at f1.4. This shot here, we're now into video. So this is shot at 120 frames a second, and 100 frames a second in PAL, and slowed down 4 times. So really smooth bit of footage there. I've actually cropped in as well, so I'm actually bringing the camera in, so not the actual lens, but actually bringing the crop in on the actual sensor there as well, just to bring it in a little bit closer. And yeah, it's just, I was really happy with how smooth that is. The autofocus just locking onto that surfer there and just staying with him, didn't matter what was going on, even ignored that water just below there, and just stayed with him. Absolutely brilliant. So really pleased with that. And by the way, he doesn't drown. He does actually get out, even though he's disappeared underwater. But that was a big set of waves there. He only went out once and tried one set of waves, and then did that one, and then he was out, and that was it. I think that's it was obviously quite a rough day. And on to the next one here. The last big wave before we left. Nice big splashy wave there. Slowed down 4 times again. And shooting into the sun a bit there, so obviously the sky's a bit white. But as I moved round, a lady and her dog wasn't quite ready for the large waves coming in. So just shows you how dangerous the ocean is and how powerful it is. As this wave comes in here, she's completely oblivious, and as you see there, she'll run for her life in a second. But, yeah, just again, just a really lovely, smooth footage at 100 frames a second. Yeah, it's just it's a lot slower than I thought. I could have cut this, but there you go. So zooming in, and she suddenly realised the wave was coming and she was going to get wet socks. So, and the dog was not that bothered apparently, but he soon trotted up near the end. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you guys some footage. This shot here, this actual last bit of footage, the exposure, because I was shooting straight into the sun and I'd actually moved from shooting into the sun and panning right, obviously not directly into the sun. My shutter speed was slightly too fast, so what I've done is just increase the brightness slightly, and a little bit of contrast there. But other than that, yeah. So that's a quick overview of what I think of the camera. I'm just really happy with it, and you know, everything just works so much better. The joystick's a brilliant thing. You can move around the focus point. Obviously, the touchscreen you can do the same. It's just the C3 button on the left-hand side, allowing you to change your focus settings very quickly, or you can program it to whatever you like. I do need to invest in a faster card, so the buffer doesn't fill up all that quick. But what the A7R2 was lacking, the A7R3 has. So if you wanted to use the A7R2 for wildlife and moving subjects like that, that could be suddenly moving, you struggle to keep up with them. But this thing is really good. I'm really impressed with it. It's locking onto flying birds, no problem at all. You just got to make sure you got your shutter speeds fast enough to freeze the action. You know, that's the only real downside. You know, if you haven't got the light and you need a faster lens, blah blah blah, but you have got really good ISO control now, so that makes a big difference. I have noticed the image quality is definitely better over the A7R2. Just all round, it looks crisper. The colours and everything look a little bit better. This is my personal thoughts. You know, this is what I've noticed because I've used the A7R2 for since the first release date that came out 2.5 years ago. I love that camera, absolutely brilliant. But it's just an all-round improvement and a very well worth upgrade if you can afford it. But the one reason I've sold my A7R2 on is because it's got to 2.5 years old and the value is dropping. So it was that moment of like, do I sell it now? Do I keep it for another 6 months or a year and get even less for it and having to pay out more? So I decided let's cut to the chase and then just buy it. So I bought the A7R3 and yeah, really happy with it. Haven't actually got any negatives at the moment, no real thoughts. I used it out in the rain the other day, absolutely fine, no real troubles at all, and that was quite heavy downpour. Didn't really care. No water ingress anywhere. I was using the Batis 85mm f1.8 lens, and that's got a rubber gasket around where it sits onto the body anyway, so no water anywhere near that area. Nothing into any compartments anywhere, and yeah, so that's a good little test there. I mean, if you held it out upside down or in the wrong position where I was, had it in my hands obviously protecting it slightly, but yeah, no, it didn't skip a beat at all there. The only real downside, I suppose, if you really think about it, is I've been using the FW50 batteries and now I've got 2 of the new ones, so they're bigger, last longer, which is great, absolutely problem at all. But now, because I've got the RX10 Mark IV as well, I've got 2 different types of batteries, so 2 chargers. So you just got to, before I was sharing the batteries out in between the cameras, and if I need another battery, I'll just either whip it out the A7R2, whip it and chuck it into the RX10 Mark IV, or vice versa, or a couple in the bag. But I have got 2 batteries. If you are going to buy the A7R3, buy 2 batteries. Yes, they last a lot longer and probably more than double actually, but it's always worth having that one ready to go just in case you shoot for a bit longer, or if you're doing video. If you're doing 4K video, it's going to eat the battery much quicker. Other than that, I haven't really got a complaint at all. Absolutely really happy about it. The only thing I haven't done yet, which I think I might do, I've still got the OLED viewfinder on auto brightness, so I need to turn that into manual, because as I was looking into the sun a little bit with the horsey shots into the sun, the screen kind of went a bit misty looking, and I think it's just trying to overcompensate. So I think I never had that issue with the A7R2, and that's because I set it at 0 on the brightness and everything, so it was 0 and it would not change. So I think that's what I need to do. I need to turn it back on and adjust that. Other than that, the camera for me is pretty much perfect. There's nothing I can really think of that it needs to improve on. Apart from the only one thing that is a little bit annoying, which I know some other cameras have, is the pinch and zoom on the touchscreen, and maybe typing your name in and everything like that. If you're using Wi-Fi via touchscreen, would be a lot easier than clicking buttons and getting into the menus and things like that, and moving around. But other than that, you have got a personalised menu, so you can actually go in and save your favourite things you use all the time, like format. So that's number 2 in the favourite, so I can go click 2, done. And like pixel shift, I've got pixel shift button in there now, so it's literally done. So yeah, that's a really helpful feature, because very rarely do I actually go deep into the menus and change anything, apart from a couple of things. So you don't really need to think too hard about where it is and things like that, because you've got this new little menu. So that's really, really good, and it's the same in the RX10 Mark IV. That has it as well. So if you can utilise that, it saves you time, and you can find things nice and easily. So anyway, guys, that's it for the moment, and please have a look at the photos, obviously, in the video, and see what you think. I'm pretty happy with it. I know there's people out there slagging it off because it doesn't do this and doesn't do that. It's expensive, but to be honest, like we know, you get what you pay for. So if you buy the best sort of level stuff, you're gonna get some really, really good kit. Yes, there's some cheaper kit out there that's very good, but I'm extremely happy with the A7R3 so far. So there'll be another video soon. Please like, subscribe, share, all that sort of stuff. Click the notification little bell thing, and keep watching. See you guys. Cheers.